Come on in. Welcome to my second podcast. Now, today we'll be having a look at things I've been working on this last month, projects I've completed, things that I'm going to be doing up and coming, and a little bit of sneak peek at certain things and some ideas of what I have going forward. So, join me and we'll get right into it. Grab yourself a cuppa, get yourself your work in progress, and let's do this thing. So obviously last time when I talked to you, I was working on my little pumpkin bag for my granddaughter, and I've completed that and it looks absolutely lovely. Now I haven't done this as a tutorial. I ran out of time, I'd been ill and so on, so it's taken me a little bit longer than I thought, but it's come out lovely. I've got obviously the little bag itself. We've got a little tie here, which I join because obviously being typical children, they have a tendency of pulling things out and it'll get lost. So I joined that at the bottom so that it can be pulled in tighter and made to look like it's a little pumpkin. And when it's full of stuff, it really does look very good. So I'll be putting some sweets and things in there for her. Then we've got the little part of a leaf stalk thing that's coming down this side, and obviously finished off the handle the same sort of way, and it can be opened quite easily too from the side using that. So I think that's come out really well. I'm really pleased with it and I think it looks brilliant. So yeah, I will probably for another year think about doing that as a pattern and taking that out. I've also finished my pumpkin coasters for my other daughter. There's 5 of them to go to her. I finished my lovely big blanket for the granddaughter again, who loves her big woolly blankets. And she's coming over on Friday night for a sleepover. So we'll see how she thinks about it. Although I already know she loves it. She keeps trying to cuddle it while I'm trying to actually crochet it. So I know she loves it. So that's come out really well, beautifully soft, and will be lovely. I'm hoping that she will love that as much as I do. I've also worked on, I have my little spiders and webs that I took out, and there is tutorials. I'll link it down below for those. And I've done a lot of different other bits and pieces. I've also done this little spider coaster. I'll put a bit better closer up one for you, and I'll be doing a tutorial for it in the next day or two. I know it's very close to Halloween, but there's still plenty of time to crochet up a few of them because they really don't take long, but it's come out really lovely and I really like them as well. So I will put a link as soon as I've in the description down below, as soon as I've actually done the tutorial for that one, because obviously that's can't link it until I've made the tutorial. So yeah, so that's that one. Now I've done lots of different things. As I keep saying, I've got so many different works in progress that I'm working on, but this is one that I'm doing actually for myself, which makes a change. This one will be a hat for myself. I just loved the wool when I saw it. I love this type of wool. I think it looks lovely. It's an iron wool, and I just really like the flecks in it, and I think it looks really nice. So I'll make myself a little hat out of it. Now I got this from, it was called Pound Stretcher that we have in the UK. Now, when it's called pound stretcher, it doesn't mean that everything's a pound. It just means that you can stretch your pound a little bit further. But I wouldn't say that this wool was much cheaper as I would have got it anywhere else. I just fancied it. It was £4 for the ball, but I really liked the look of it. So I bought them so that I could make myself a hat out of it. So by next time, I should be finished that hat for myself. I hope so, because winter's definitely coming in and I can really feel how cold it's getting now. We all worry about the cost of living, what we're going to do, and how we're going to make our money go that little bit further. So one of the things I've done is ordered some wool from Temu. Now, most of you will know what Temu is. It's an online site where you can get quite a few things cheaper as what you can do elsewhere. Now, they offer lots of vouchers and things like that. So again, it's be a little bit careful when you're actually working with them that the things are value for money. So when I ordered the wool that I did, I got a few on offer, which then meant I got vouchers back from that. So I bought a couple of things on offer, which meant I got the voucher, which was an £8 off a £20 shop. So that actually really helped bring down the price of the wool, which was reasonable to begin with. But again, it's making sure you really look at what it's saying. I've got my little Temu haul, so that wool haul, yarn haul, depending on where you come from. And I'll link that in, I'll put that in now for you to have a look at, and then I'll join you at the end of it. Today we are looking at that Temu haul. We're going to have a look at what I've got from them so that we can then see whether it's a good enough quality that we can use it for making our items with. We don't want to lose that quality. We actually want to know whether it really is worth that money. Now, I'm not affiliated with Temu. It is simply, I want to know whether it's worth my while to use them. And I thought it would be something of interest to everybody else as well. Now, a bit of advice along with this video would be to just check out what you're actually getting. When you are looking at the descriptions for the items, make sure that you're actually getting what you think you are. I've seen a number of times where it says it's 150 grams and for the three packs of wool. Now it's not 150 grams each or 100 grams each. It will be the overall weight of either all 3 items or all 2 and sometimes 5. So you just have to keep a watch on that and make sure. So there was one group that I looked at which had 5 items in it, said it was 250 gram balls, total weight was 250 grams. It was 50 grams each ball, which is fine, but it's just reading that small print and making sure that you know what you're getting and that you're not disappointed because of it. The other thing is you now get through a lot of vouchers from them, again, just making sure that you know what you're getting. I had one advertisement which said £250 voucher for that you can use. When I actually received the vouchers, it was split up into 5 different ones, which is absolutely fine because even at the £8 off for spending over £20, you still got really good value for money. So let's have a present coffee. Let's just have a look. So I opened the bag already because I find it really hard sometimes to get into these bags. And what I found was that all of these are actually individually wrapped, which, well, not all of them, but a number of them. So I got myself a number of the same type of wool because I thought I could crochet up a blanket for my grandchildren. So I did some blue because that'll be nice for them for when they're here. And I got another one, it was in a slightly different bag. And then I've got, I think that's a blue one as well. So it should be, yes, that's another blue one. There should be one different colour in here. Ah, yes, the one pink one that I've got. It's just a slightly different one to try. Now, just looking at these and feeling these, they actually feel quite good at the minute. So they don't feel bad. They're not harsh. They feel quite good. But obviously, the truth of the pudding is in the eating. So when I make them up, we'll be able to tell. And I think I should have 6 of these in the blue. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I went 1 over on that. It's another blue one. And that's another blue one. And 1 more. So I think I've got 7 to be on the safe side. Sometimes you find otherwise you're maybe a bit out in what you're needing. So I've got 7 blue and 1 pink of those. And then I thought, well, I'll try a few different ones. So I got this slightly different one. It's a grey one. It's very similar in weight to the others, but it was a different type. So I've got one of those as well. I've also got this one. Now this one came with a little stitch marker. But again, that was something to look out for. It said you've got 2 items, advertised it when you saw 2 balls of wool beside each other, but actually what you're getting was the ball of wool plus the stitch marker. I did know that when I bought it because I did check out the small print. But again, when you first looked at it, it looked like you were maybe getting the 2 balls of wool. Instead, it's the ball of wool and stitch markers. It's just, again, as I say, be really careful when you're looking at these items. Just thought this would make a little bit of a difference from the other ones. So it's a little bit thinner, but again, it looks quite nice. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make out of that, but I just wanted to try and see. And the last one that I got was this bag of 5 different. It's a blue one. I think it's maybe similar to this one. So again, I like to work with the chunkies a lot of the time, mainly because they make up nice and quickly. I do like double knitting too, but this one is that little bit thinner again. As you can see, that's the sort of super chunky. And I wouldn't even say that this is a chunky. This is quite a lot thinner. Now, sometimes on Temu, that's the other thing. It doesn't really tell you maybe what the weights are entirely. It's a little bit harder to differentiate that. It doesn't say it's an iron weight or a chunky or so on. But they do usually have the weights somewhere, so it's just keeping a watch on that. Now this is, as I say, for 5 of them. Again, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make out of these, but they actually feel really nice. So it'll be nice to try them and see what they come out like. So what I will do is, that is my wool haul for today. I will go away, make some of these up, come back and share with you what I feel they're like, how they've crocheted up, and what the quality is like. So obviously with the Temu haul, some of what I got was this wool here. Now, this one, I'm going to make another baby blanket out of. Well, it's not so much a baby blanket as a blanket for my children, my grandchildren who come and visit. Nice for them to have a blanket that they can actually cuddle up with, have a nap with, or, just sometimes they fall asleep on the sofa, just to cover them up with, especially with winter here. It's starting to get colder. So I've got 7 of those to make another little blanket with. This wool is another sort of chenille style wool. Now, both of these wools feel absolutely lovely. I have no problem with them, but obviously I don't know how they're going to crochet up at the minute. So how they will feel, how they will be able to work with them. So this one I'm going to make a scarf and hat set out of. And what I will do is, in the November podcast, I will come back and tell you whether I felt it was worth the money that I spent on it, because I think that's important for us all to know, and then we can decide whether it's good enough for us to carry on and work with. Certainly it feels really nice, so I'm hoping that it will be, because we all can do with saving a little bit of money at this time of year. So my next podcast should be a little bit earlier, should be earlier on in November, so that we can let you know the different things that's going to happen. I do have something coming up that I'm really excited for in December, little challenge for myself, but something that will be really nice, and I hope that you'll enjoy along with me. So I will announce that obviously in November. So as I say, my podcast will be a little bit sooner, probably because I can't wait to tell you all about it, but I think that it'll be really nice. I'm hoping that you'll all enjoy it too. So that's sort of the November. I'm going to, as I say, start a lot of Christmassy projects, winter projects. Because I've got my hats and things too. I might have a tutorial coming out for one of them, depends on what I end up doing, not for this one, but possibly for the one that I do with this. So it depends on what I end up doing for that. But I do love the winter time. I love Christmas. I've got so many ideas, as I say, coming up for that. Got to practice a lot of different things, try to tweak certain patterns to make sure that they're how they should be. I also have my first ever craft fair coming up. Now, it is just a small one, and because I didn't want to start on a large scale, but that's something that I have to be honest, I'm quite nervous about doing, but I'm looking forward to it. So I will have to see how much I can get crocheted and try and really crochet quickly in a day or 2 days to see how I can do. Get a lot more produce ready for going, and especially some of those little Christmas items that people may want to pick up. I'm looking out for, I'm going to be doing some little keychains for that. And again, I might put some tutorials out for some of them on the channel. I've got some Christmas ornaments that will be out as well, and just lots of different little things that people can like. So I've got a lot of projects coming up. So what I will do is obviously put them out in tutorials, let you know in my November podcast some of the bits and pieces that I'm doing. And yes, I think that as ever, I just feel like I'm always got a dozen projects on the go at one time, but that's just the way that my brain goes. Can't help myself. And I'm sure that most of you are the same. I do have a number of other things going on too. And again, I will introduce you to them probably as we go along. But my head is always thinking of the next project, what I can do. I love the little projects too. I think they are really nice to be able to bring out because people can complete them quickly. Really good, especially for Christmas coming up, being able to complete those little projects quickly so that you can give them as gifts or just for in your own home. Really, really nice things. So those are the projects I'm working on at the minute. And thank you so much for joining me for my second podcast. Now, this is the podcast without a name yet. So if you do have a thought about a name for me, please put it in the comments down below because I, at this minute in time, cannot think of a name at all. So I look forward to seeing you in my next podcast, and I will reveal what it is I'm going to be doing for December for my Christmas projects and my Christmas challenge to myself. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much. Bye.